Welcome and good day to everybody to another segment of Lifi'n Talk. Welcoming my very special guest and collaborator and my mentor, Dr. Rose. Welcome.
Thank you, Liz. So
You're
glad to be here with you.
welcome. So glad to have you. And today, this segment, I thought that we really kind of break it down, something that maybe you have heard of, never applied it, or maybe you've never heard of it, which is all about a SWOT. And so you might ask, what is a SWOT?
It's not swatting flies.
So a SWOT is really a personal analysis of yourself, and it is knowing how to really use it as a tool to help you with your growth process, getting to know yourself. And it's an analysis that can actually help you transform to get from point A to Z.
Yeah.
And so we're going to break it down very simply today. There's a lot more to it that we do in our one-on-one sessions with clients, but I wanted to bring it to the forefront of this segment and have Dr. Rose, as a master life coach that you are, to break it down. The SWOT can be used in many, many different ways. So this topic today that we're going to talk about, we're going to use it as a personal tool, to use it in your personal life, but also most certainly it's a powerful tool to use it for business. And you may be saying, you know what, gosh, I've been thinking about that too. Well, you have Dr. Rose that is powerful. She is a business consultant and she has many, many, many services that she can help with, from startup to being stuck in business for 15, 20 years. Yeah. So Dr. Rose, before we kind of get started, I want you to kind of maybe talk about, a SWOT and what that can really do.
You know, when you think about SWOT, again, in most cases, most people tend to associate it with just business.
Right.
But, SWOT can be applied to even within your personal life, because you've got to be aware of who you are. And you've got to be open and honest about that. And so, the same way that we would literally sit down with a client and discuss, and Liz is absolutely phenomenal in this area as well. She is really top in that. But being able to sit down and have you to define the same that you would in a business, but asking
Right.
the questions, what are your weaknesses? What are you not so confident in? What do you feel that you need some additional help with? But then again, it's like the interview when you're going for a job. They're asking you, what qualifies you for this job? What makes you think that you could actually do this? What have you already done? What have you accomplished in what you're doing? And so you're becoming aware of who you are, and that helps to set a foundation. It's as a bit like a builder. When they lay that foundation, and if it's a solid foundation, now everything else on the foundation will be solid. The walls can go up, the roof can go up, the
Right.
internal parts of it. But a SWOT actually helps to set a foundation of who you are, what you need to work on, what needs to be achieved, the things that need to be advanced, and perhaps the thing just to highlight the things that you aren't good at. And so that's the first part of what I would basically look at
Yeah.
when it comes to SWOT.
And I would say that SWOT also really is a good evaluation of where you are in your growth process,
Yeah.
because it really does evaluate your personal growth, and it helps you kind of take a wide eye lens within you. As we sit down and really identify your talents. Really, it's all about your traits,
Yes.
which kind of align with a strength that you have,
Yeah.
or a weakness that you have, or something that you think definitely is a weakness. and or a threat. As I always tell clients, it's not really that you kind of look at that perspective as a threat. It's really a growth opportunity.
Yes.
How can you get better? How can you learn? And so we learn by reflection also.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so taking a look in the mirror.
Yeah. I,
And so we always start off with looking at strengths, because strengths are really, they're the fortress of
mhm.
who we are.
Absolutely.
That builds a strong foundation of who we really are as a person. And sometimes, we have hidden strengths within
Yes.
us. I have
Yeah.
discovered so many over the years, without even knowing that
Yeah.
I had that. And I've taken the time personally to really do a self diagnostic of myself. I've worked with Dr. Rose because she has been a mentor to me, and I believe that we have had this great exchange
Yeah.
in really relating and building upon each other as well, and identifying just by conversation, by sessions that we've had
Mhm.
both professionally and getting to know each other personally as well. So I think that what a strength can be many, many things. Okay, and so um, what what this segment is all about is really to give you a high level overview of what it really means by doing a self analysis such as a SWOT, um, because we all have many strengths,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and the strength is also, maybe you don't define it as that, but our what do we like to
Yeah.
do, what do we inspire, what inspires us, all
Mhm.
of those are hidden strengths, when you
Absolutely.
say, Dr.
Absolutely.
Rose.
Absolutely. And, you were saying being able to look inwardly at the person. My mind went to Michael Jackson's song, looking at the man in the mirror.
Yes.
And we do have to look at that person that's in the mirror. But one of the things that I would also begin to think when it comes to that SWOT is having someone in your life, as a life coach
Yes.
or someone that can be honest to help to point out even those weak areas. A lot of times we are excited when people point out how great we are, the good things that we are doing. But sometimes we need someone that's going to also be able to help us to see the areas where we are weak in. I'm going to use, for example, if you're a speaker, back in the day, back in the early 80s, because speaking was something that I had to always do. And I would get a little tape recorder back in the day. Back they used to have the little cassette tapes, and I would talk in that cassette tape, and then I would then play it back so I could hear myself, because I remember hearing Zig Ziglar once talked about that when it
Yes, I
came to the
remember that.
speakers. And so I wanted to hear to get better when it came to public speaking. But one of the things that I began to realize when I would hear myself, and that is sometimes the those little inward words that was inside of what I'm trying to say, that were fillers. I guess they call them filler words. Well, sometimes we don't always see that. But when there is a coach or someone is there to point that out, my point is to recognize, don't take this personal.
Right.
You see,
Right.
because there is what we call constructive criticism that helps us to become better. And if we are not willing to be aware of those things, we're not going to change. You see, and you can't change what you're even unwilling to acknowledge. If you're not aware and you're not going to acknowledge that, hey, I need to change how I'm speaking because I know I'm supposed to be speaking before many people, and we have an attitude or we have a problem with that, then now we can't grow. So it's very important that we be able to deal and handle constructive criticism. That is vital. And that's also a sign of maturity.
That's right. And also, doing the SWOT, it gives you an understanding of what you're conflicting with, or maybe having obstacles, what are your obstacles? So it really brings that out. So, in identifying what the strengths is, strengths can be your talent, your character, your traits. Okay, and again, what do you like to do? So, really, kind of writing everything down. When it comes to weaknesses, weaknesses are your habits, your limiting beliefs. What are they? What maybe are you procrastinating about? Because that's a big one. Your fear. Um, you know, why are you maybe scared that you're not perfect?
Yeah.
Perfectionism. So really breaking all of that down. Is there anything else that you have to add to when it comes to weaknesses, Dr. Rose?
Well, sometimes just thinking about acknowledging that that there are some weaknesses that you have. And when you can acknowledge those weaknesses, now you know what you need to work on to become better at. And there are so many tools out there to help us in areas where we are weak in, things that we can look at. And there are so many sources. But weaknesses is a good thing because you know what? It can help us now to strive to do better, to become better. So don't be afraid when you do or when someone points out those things because now you're being put in a position to become better.
Yeah, and threats, as I said, it's growth
Yeah.
opportunities. So what are you dealing with inside internally that you feel frustrated, or you have anxiety about? Is it a fear, maybe fear of money, not enough? Maybe it's a personal, um, self lack of self confidence. All of those
Yeah.
things. So really breaking that down, it helps to kind of get it out in writing and
Yeah.
doing the analysis, because then you can think about overcoming. And how do you overcome these things? First of all, you got to know what you need to overcome,
Yeah.
or what you do you want to change. And threats come in many different
Yes.
shapes, forms, and
Yes.
sizes.
Absolutely.
It could be a fear, it could be an experience that maybe you had, and you can't seem to quite to shake it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that most certainly there is opportunity to overcome anything. The
Absolutely.
the magic answer, I think, are you willing to do what it takes to do the work in you to overcome?
Hmm.
And that's really the first key to start. And I think the purpose of this whole thing, of this conversation in this short segment, is really to give you some clarity
Yeah.
on some things that we do as life
Yeah.
coaches
Yeah.
that could really create a major impact in your life,
Yeah.
that can help you be accountable for, to make the changes that you're wanting. And two, it gives you an opportunity to really um, let us help you
Yeah.
to define clear
Yeah.
measures,
Yeah.
or offer some clarity for you.
Right.
And Dr. Rose, would you say anything else to that?
Nothing more than clarity is so important. Being clear on your thoughts, being clear on the things that you want to do, all of these things will help you to grow. And so, if you have never taken the time to do a SWOT, we want to encourage you to do that. Having that personal awareness of the things that you want to do, where you're strong at, where you're weak at, what are the opportunities, and then looking at the whole picture. That's what's going to help you to become that better you, that authentic you.
Yes, and having that self-reflection and doing some of the exercises, such as the SWOT, really makes a big difference in your life if you let it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because it is a mindset and it's a mind shift, and work starts from the inside out. And
Mm-hmm.
so, with that, I hope that you found the segment. It was a quick one, a short one, to the point, but really the value of doing the SWOT gives you so many um, great nuggets. And so this is what we're here for, to offer some strategies. And, um, Dr. Rose, thank you so much,
Thank you, Liz. Thank you.
as always.
Yeah.
And please look Dr. Rose up. She can help with so many different things. And so I hope that you found this beneficial. If you did, subscribe, hit the like button, and share with others, because this is what we're here each and every week to bring you some great food for thought. So until next time, Dr. Rose, thank you again.
Thank you,
We will
Liz.
see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye now.